Hi, this is Mike Mims, and this is a quick introduction to the Asteel 3D detailing system. I'm going to open AutoCAD, start a new drawing. This is the Asteel 3D toolbar. I'm not going to go into detail about every tool on here. I'm just going to go ahead and build a quick model and produce some details. So we'll give it a job number. 17-400, and select a fabricator code. Asteel is creating the origin to 3D model in the coordinate system. Okay, here we go. Our X, Y, Z coordinate origin point is at 0, 0. This could be moved if you have a job that you need to coordinate a reference datum point with. Okay, first thing we're going to do is place our grid lines. So we'll create a view for those, a new view, column lines. That's all we have to do. Say OK. Now we're ready to start drawing in the column grid lines. So what I like to do is draw a vertical line and a horizontal line, and then we can offset from there. So if we're drawing a vertical line, our x's will be the same. Our y start point might be 0, and our y end point might be, let's call it 25 feet. And we're going to call this A. And now I'm going to draw one, a horizontal one. So our our y's are going to be the same, are going to be 0, and our x start is going to be 0, and our x end is going to be 25 feet. And we're going to call that line 1. Draw. I'm going to close up the column line tool. I'm going to zoom extents. Here's our two column lines. Now I'm going to offset from these existing column lines. So I can either select it from the drop-down list, or I can just pick on the line I want to offset. And I'm going to offset to the right. I'm going to offset 20 feet. And I'm going to call that one B. Draw. Alright, now I'm going to select this one. And it's going to, let's try again. I didn't quite get it. There we go. This is column line 1. We're going to go above 20 feet and call that 2. Okay, now we're going to place some columns. So we put in a column size. Let's use a 14 by 90. It's a kind of big column. Whoop. Okay, it's telling me I need to make a view first, so let's do that. New view, column tier, okay. And I like to make my columns red. Okay. Now I'm going to make that the current view. 14 by 90 column. We're going to make the bottom elevation, we'll just make 0. And the top elevation, we're going to make 20 feet. And we're going to put a base plate on there, which is type 68. So that's a W14 column. So roughly 14 inches. So we're going to go, actually 8 inches is good. Let's go, yeah, let's go 8 inches and 8 inches. And let's make this 4 inches, 4 inches. Watch my typing. Okay, 1.5 inches thick. Now what I'm doing here is we have all of our types have an example showing the type, column in type 68, and it has an option sheet. And what I'm doing here is filling out the option sheet. So I made for A, I made that 8 inches. B, I made 8 inches. and C I made 4 inches. And D is also 4 inches. And the plate thickness, E, plate thickness, 1.5 inches, and the hole size is going to be 1 5/16 for 1 inch anchor bolts. Okay, now as you see in the notes down here that the I and J and K all default to a symmetrical hole pattern, but if you had a non-symmetrical hole pattern, you could put different numbers in there. I'll just save that, say OK, and now I'm going to pick my points so I can pick multiple. So I'll put one at each corner, and you can rotate the column any way you want. I usually like to put the A face to the left, and you know, if it was a that's of course if it's an H pattern. If it's in an I pattern, then you'd have to put it to the south. You can rotate it any way you want though, or skew. I'll go ahead and say draw. Okay. Close. And we drew the one, so let's draw another one. Draw. 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 Close. Okay, now if we want to see this in 3D, we can go to View, 3D Views, Southeast ISO, and if we want to make that look a little more realistic, we can always do Visual Styles, Realistic, and of course you can rotate that around. We can say well, where is that at? Orbit, okay, orbit, free orbit, and we can see there's our columns. We can zoom in there, see our base plates. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to a top view. Okay, now we're ready to make a floor view. So we'll go back to our model views, new, floor. Okay, I'm going to put this floor at 20 feet and I'm going to make it blue. Okay, now we can draw some beams. Okay, I'm going to make this 18 by 35, and I'm going to pick my start point, be the center of this column, and I'll pick my end point at the center of this column. We draw a little circle there that makes it easy to select the center of the column. Draw, and close. Okay, now we've drawn one beam, and just to see what this looks like again in 3D, we're looking at a plan view now. We are in 3D, but in order to go to an isometric view, we can say 3D views and then I guess another Southeast ISO. So here's our beam connected to the column with some clip angles. That was a default connection, which can be set up under framing situations. So that's under our tools, our options, framing situations. So we've got these different types of conditions, like for instance beam to column flange square. That's our type 28, which is a clip angle connection, and W, which is web holes or flange holes. Okay, now let's just go ahead and create a drawing real quick. So columns, and we're going to make this sheet number 1, and I'm going to select this column right here. And I'm just going to say save and create drawing. Okay, now we're going to open that drawing. And here's what the detail looks like. Pretty simple column, but of course it shows your welds at your base plate. There's options for changing those welds. This is the default weld where you weld the flanges, and then you weld basically half of the depth of the column along the web at both sides. And here's the connection for our beam, and of course it filled out the shop bill and a detail of our base plate. Okay, that concludes the introduction, and I'll be making more videos and posting them shortly.